Yes, it's 3 p.m. and yes, I did make myself a full-fledged coffee. We listen and we don't judge. Okay. I am very excited today because I think I'm ready to jump into my second draft of Project Phoenix. Before I get too ahead of myself, hi, my name is Joy and I am a fantasy writer. I finished my first draft of Project Phoenix, which is a high fantasy with a romantic subplot and gothic vibes. I finished that first draft March 25th, I think, was the day. And then I did like a week of revision prep, just super preliminary stuff. I did a reverse outline. I made a few brainstorming notes and kind of put it together in a revision checklist of things that I already knew I wanted to change right off the bat without even really looking at my manuscript. And then I put it away. And now I'm feeling ready to tackle Project Phoenix yet again. So let me outline, I guess, my current game plan to you. First, I'm going to start with a complete read through of the first draft, which I have not done yet. I have not actually read through the entire first draft yet, ever. So I'm very nervous about it, but it's going to be good. And during that whole process, I'm planning to take a few, I'm not going to go crazy on the notes. At this point, I'm not going to be really looking at line level editing. I'm going to be looking at developmental edits, which is primarily edits to the plot structure and world building and character arcs, just really bigger picture stuff. I did not print it out. I think I'm actually going to read through it in my Scrivener document because what I want to do is, you can make comments in Scrivener. So I think I want to make comments and then compile them all and add them to my revision checklist, or at least have the comments there, because the way that I'm going to write the second draft is I think I'm actually going to do a full rewrite. And I mean, I'll copy things over if I don't need to rewrite it. But for the most part, I'm going to have a split screen with the first draft on the left side and on the right side, my second draft. And so then I'll have all the comments that I've made for my read through on the first draft right there. Does that make any sense at all? So whatever feels best in the moment is what I'm going to do, from a practical standpoint. But that's my current game plan, is split screen, basically a full rewrite of the draft to make the second draft. Because frankly, the first draft is kind of a mess. There's some parts of it that are nice and polished, but a lot of it is not polished at all. And I already know, because my process at the beginning of this book, I very much pantsed this book, very much Discovery wrote much of this book. It was necessary, but it's a big mess. So it's not I can really go through and edit it in a super clean way. So yeah, I think it's just going to be easier and nicer to rewrite it. And I'm going to write the second draft with as much polish as I can. I'm not going to make a huge fuss about the line level, because I know that I will do an in-depth line level edit later, but I do want everything to be in place. Does that make sense? I'm going to try to avoid brackets and placeholders as much as I can while I'm writing the second draft. I want it to be ready for me to hand to beta readers by the end of the second draft for people to read it on a plot level. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But anyway, first and foremost, I just need to start with the read through and then I can start from there. So I'm assuming the read through is going to take me a few days because my first draft is 100,000 words. And if I'm going to be taking notes and stuff like that, it'll take me a little bit. I'm not going to dedicate all day, every day to reading it, because I think that would tire me out a little bit. But yeah, I am frankly kind of terrified. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to start reading and making comments, and it's going to be something else. Well, see you on the other side. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is my first time opening this document, I think, in well over a month. Oh my gosh, here it is. Okay, this is the reverse outline that I had made. You see all these cards here. I don't know how you can see it, but yeah, so that was really helpful. But today I'm just going to be looking at the first draft. Oh my gosh, here it is. Oh my gosh. And the way that I'm going to be making comments, in case you don't know how to make comments in Scrivener, So the way that you can make comments in Scrivener is, so do you see this like icon right here? This shows your notes. So it has your synopsis in your notes section, which I find super helpful. But then it has document, bookmarks, general metadata, snapshots, and on the far right, it's like a little speech bubble is a section for comments and footnotes. So then if you highlight a section, you can hit the comment button and it has like the date and timestamp already automatically, and you just blah, 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 write whatever comment you want. It'll be highlighted in a different color, like blue or something, and then so when you like click on it, it'll show all of the comments. So now that I've showed you that, I'm actually going to start. Okay, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I do begin with a prologue, and I don't think I'm going to be starting with this same prologue, like, at all. So I'm going to read through it, and I'm going to like get a sense for what it feels like for this to be the beginning of the book. But I think I'm going to be taking it out altogether, which is a little bit sad, but I don't know. Like the more distance I have from the book though, the more I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Even though I love this scene, I can take it out. Hello, I just got back from that coffee shop that you just saw, and the sun like keeps coming in and out right now, so I'm sorry if the lighting changes drastically. But anyway, it's actually been a few days since I last checked in with you. I've just been chucking away reading Project Phoenix and taking copious amounts of notes. Oh my word. So many notes. All of the yellow, those are all like separate notes, and like I even minimized them. So like there's a lot of notes that I've been taking, like super in depth, and yeah, just all the things that I need to change. And I'm about halfway through chapter 7. There's like 28 total chapters in the book currently, so I'm getting there, but it's taking me a while, especially because this first portion of the book, I mean, as I feared, it's pretty much going to be a full rewrite, which is fine. I actually think that that will be the most effective and efficient way for me to incorporate all of my notes and changes. And it's interesting because the skeleton is there, and the skeleton is mostly remaining the same. And by that, I mean like the different contexts in which the scenes are taking place, and technically the broad brushstrokes of what happens in each scene is pretty much the same, but from an atmosphere perspective and from a character motivation perspective and from a world building perspective, like everything else is super different. Like all of the details are different. I feel like I kind of look a little bit like a fool because when I first started writing Project Phoenix, I was really detailed in the beginning, like the first 25% of the book. I mean, the prose is very polished, technically speaking, so there are a lot of lines that I like, but it just doesn't fit because the characters aren't right and the world building isn't right, and I've changed a lot of details. And yeah, I'll probably be adding in some scenes as well. I just hope that when it comes to writing the second draft, it actually feels good. You know, I'm hoping that the rewriting process comes a little bit more easily than the first draft process. It's probably not going to come more easily if we're being honest, but we're crossing our fingers. And I am really excited to see what comes of it, because I think that this second draft, once I'm done making all these notes and I come up with answers to some of the questions that are still lingering in my brain, and I go through and write the second draft, I feel like it will be the truer form of what the story is about. But basically, this first draft was me trying to figure out what the story was about and who my characters were and what the world was. And the second draft is me actually implementing what I found out in the first draft. It's a pretty messy process. I don't know if I recommend it because it involves a lot of killing of darlings, but if it's what I had to go through to get to where I'm at and where I'm gonna be, I guess that's fine. I do feel like my vision is finally coming together though, because like everything was super foggy when I was writing the first draft, but now that I'm looking at it and reading through it, I don't know, I'm seeing all the areas that need to change. And I think I'm also noticing like what parts feel kind of boring, if that makes sense. And I'm realizing why they're boring. And it's because, the driver isn't there. There's all this information that I thought that the reader needed. Oh, that's another thing. Like the way that I'm delivering exposition is also, it was like such a mess and so unnatural initially. That's another really big thing that's going to be rewritten in this second draft, is like the way that I'm delivering my exposition. So yeah. Character motivations are changing, world is changing, atmosphere is changing, and the way that I'm weaving my exposition is also changing, and the setting's changing in a lot of ways. So like pretty much it feels like everything is changing, but it's okay. It's okay. I will say I'm actually really excited to be done reading and taking notes, and I'm excited to actually dive into writing. Like I'm just like itching for that part. I'm halfway tempted to like stop the read through right now and just dive into writing the second draft, but I'm trying to be patient and like get through it so that I have a better picture of like what the rest of the book looks like. I'm training for a half marathon currently, so this evening I'm going to be going on a 6-mile run. On the one hand, I'm not looking forward to, but on the other hand, I'm really looking forward to. Isn't that funny? I feel like running is so similar to writing in that way sometimes. But I do think that over the course of my run, I will hopefully come up with some ideas and fill in the gaps of questions that have been rising in my head, because it's like there are certain things about the world and the magic system that I know are not quite right, but I don't know what the answer to it is yet. So like I feel like my subconscious kind of has to work on it in the background. And while I'm running, honestly, is a great time for me to think about some of these things. I'm currently getting ready to hop onto a live stream. It's going to be on Emily Thompson's channel with Amelia and Becca Tobar, and I am very excited. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream, so this will be nice. But really quickly, I just wanted to update you. I am chapter not even on. Oh, I'm on like chapter 10. So I'm not even halfway yet. I haven't made that much progress, but I have made a lot of comments and I've come up with a lot of ideas. And I will say, starting around chapter 8, so like these last 2 chapters that I've read, I am considerably happier with these chapters. So like I feel like the whole first quarter of the book I am pretty much rewriting, but thankfully at this point, I mean, there's going to be tweaks here and there, but I'm actually pretty happy with how it's going so far. Like as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, this actually kind of feels like a real book. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that I'll be able to carry over into the second draft, which is comforting after reading like the first part and being like, I have so many notes and so many changes and it's going to be overwhelming. But I'm honestly kind of living this process. It's fun. But anyway, I'm going to hop onto this live stream. I'm going to keep on trucking along with reading this draft. It's taking me longer than I thought that it would, but I guess like it is like a whole book. I mean, it's 100,000 words for just the first draft, and I'm taking notes in the middle of it, so I guess it makes sense that it's taking some time. I'm also reading 2 books at the same time, like while I'm writing this. I'm reading the audiobook of Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher, and I'm also reading I Who Have Never Known Men, which I'm like annotating it. I'm really taking my time. It's more of like a dystopian or sci-fi lit fic. I don't know. It's hard to know where to categorize it because you don't really know what's going on, but still. Okay, I'm gonna hop onto the live now. So hello. The nervous butterflies before I'm about to stream, so I've been like, ah. I literally just messaged you on Instagram, but I was like, why is he? A lot of it is just my daily rhythms, my daily life. There's a lot of opportunity for growth, which was like originally why I took it. Hi. I feel like I have no idea what's going on with this vlog anymore. It's been a hot minute since I've filmed, so I don't even know like the last thing that I said. I think I was maybe halfway through the book and I was about to join a live stream or something, maybe. But yeah, the last week or so has been kind of crazy. I went to a wedding, I had a lot of work to do. I've been half marathon training, and I just feel like generally my like brain has been so full of fog. But last night I did finish the read through of my first draft. And actually today, the day that I'm filming this, May 28th, is my birthday. I'm 27. So last night I finished the read through of my first draft at like just past midnight. So I literally brought in my birthday working on my book. So that's kind of fun, I guess. The next step, I mean, frankly, I have so many notes and I had so many just things I intend to change about the plot and the characters, but I am genuinely getting so excited. Like, I think it would be really easy to feel daunted by the task before me because, yes, there are a lot of changes and I have a lot of like world building that I need to get in order. I just had a lot of questions about the world as I was writing, and answering some of those questions I think will impact the plot. So I think that my next step is going to be just getting into the writing. And as I'm writing, I think I'm going to sort out the world. Would it be probably better for me to sort out the world before I dive into revisions in the second draft? Yes, but I think what I'm gonna do is like a mixture of writing and brainstorming slash world building, like kind of in tandem with each other. Because first of all, I'm just really excited to write, especially since I have a really good idea of what's happening and what's going on, and I have something to work off of. But second of all, I think that my brain just works better that way. I kind of like toggling between tasks, and I tend to come up with the best ideas for my world while I'm writing because I am more of that discovery writer. It's like my brain has to like be chewing on it and processing it while I'm writing. Is that the most efficient way to go about things? Absolutely not. But we're leaning into the way that my brain works, okay? So yeah, I really wish that I could just start writing right now. Unfortunately, most of my birthday has been working thus far because, yeah, it's a Wednesday and Wednesdays are one of my busiest work days. But then this evening, I'm going out to dinner with my husband, which is going to be like nice. I'll have like a little birthday dinner. And maybe when we get back home, I can steal away to write for a little bit this evening. But I don't know, I might be too tired. But anyway, I guess that's my check-in for now. Okay, sidebar. I feel like this vlog is so chaotic and indefinite. Like, it's not like a week in my life or a day in my life. It's not working on like one specific thing or doing a challenge. Like, it's so vague and unstructured. I don't know, man. Just thank you for joining along for the ride, even if it is not super well packaged and contained. Like, this is just a little bit of chaos. I promise maybe the next vlog that I do will be a little bit more intentional, I guess. But this is more just like, hey, we're just chatting through the process, and it's fine. As a side note though, do let me know if there are any specific types of videos you want to see from me. Like, if you would like to see more content geared towards exploring the craft end of things and really discussing like a topic in depth, or if you just like weekly vlogs or day in the life vlogs, or if you want to see me do some sort of a challenge video or more collaborations with author tubers, I don't know, just let me know. Hello, it's the next day, and as you saw, I just went to a coffee shop and I started writing the second draft of Project Phoenix, which is exciting. Now, technically, I had kind of already rewritten the first chapter, so technically, I already did have some words down for the second draft, but this is like the official beginning, okay? And that first chapter is not yet done, but I added 500 words to it at the coffee shop, and I've got, maybe another 500 words left in that chapter because it's currently sitting at around 2,500 words, and I think the chapter will end probably around 3,000 words is my guess. The words are definitely coming out a little bit more slowly because, number one, I'm not really used to drafting, and I feel like I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to drafting. I mean, I've been writing and I've been thinking about stories and storytelling, but I haven't like tried to write anything super polished recently. But for the second draft, I kind of want things to be a little bit more polished. Like, I'm having higher standards for myself. I don't know, like, I feel like there's a little bit more pressure to get things right. Like, I don't know, I can't abandon that like perfectionist voice in my head as much as I would with like zero drafting or the first draft, where I feel like I'm just kind of exploring and playing around. And also, secondly, I'm going to be changing virtually everything about the beginning of the book. And I think I may have already talked about this, but I was thinking earlier that it's so interesting to me that the beginning of my book and the end of my book, so much is going to change from the first draft to the second draft. Just so much, from the characters' motivations to the world building to the voice to just everything. It feels like everything except for some of like the bare bones of the plot. But even that, like, just certain scenes are changing pretty drastically, adding in characters, removing characters, like just a lot of stuff. But the middle of my book, like the middle of my first draft. I mean, there's still lots that I'm going to change, but most of it I think is going to remain intact, at least, I mean, comparatively speaking, which I think is interesting. Like the middle of my book currently is the strongest part of my book. And the interesting thing is, most of the time I hear people saying that like the middle of their book is the messiest part. It's the part that kind of sags the most after the first draft, and it's like a big struggle. But yeah, for me, it's the beginning and the end that are not where they need to be. The beginning was polished, but it was not the story because I hadn't figured out the story yet. And the end is just a ton of loose ends and like just, I mean, it's not polished at all. I vomited on the page because I was like, this isn't right, so I'm not going to put a lot of effort into it, but I need to have something. But the middle of the book, I feel like that's where a lot of depth comes in. That's where I kind of hit my stride and started realizing what the book was supposed to be in the middle. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I just got home and unfortunately I do have to do some like actual work for my actual job now. I have a project that I need to get done today. And then after that, it's going to be dinner and getting the kids to bed. But then I will get to continue working on my book, which is, what I truly want to do right now, because I'm hosting a writing live stream with Hannah Grace Fletcher and Evelyn Black, and I'm very excited to have them on my channel, very excited to chat with people, answer some questions, and get some writing done. Be like a whole, it's what you think of it. Hello. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a rundown of like what's going on, what's floating around in my head, all that. Okay, first of all, the writing live stream that I think I mentioned yesterday, it did in fact happen last night with Evelyn and Hannah, which by the way, like it went so well. Thank you so much, Evelyn and Hannah, for joining me on that live stream. I got almost 1,000 words during the stream, which is great. That brings my current total for the second draft to 3,357. I think it actually got up to like 3,500, but I ended up deleting some words later on after the stream. So yeah, honestly, I'm pretty much done with the first chapter. Like those roughly 3,000 words are the first chapter of the second draft. And very little of that was actually carried over from the first draft because I think I mentioned before that like this first chapter, or at least the first few chapters actually are going to be completely gutted and rewritten pretty much from scratch. Overall, I'm fairly happy with it. I mean, there's going to be so many like line level things that I could fuss with, and there are some world building elements that I also want to hash out a little bit with some more depth in terms of like what do I want to exposit when, if that makes sense? Like what elements of the world do I want to weave into this chapter? What makes the most sense in terms of like the order of things that are revealed about the world and the characters, that sort of thing. So those are all questions that I'm having as I'm writing this chapter and these first few chapters, frankly. It is fairly polished, fairly clean, which I'm happy with. But yeah, I might honestly, like once I'm done writing, say the first 5 chapters or however many chapters of the second draft, I might kind of go through and do a second pass through all of them, kind of once I have a bigger picture of what is going on, and I can make sure that the flow of information makes sense and is cohesive and that sort of thing. And who knows, if I'm feeling up to it, maybe I'll send like the first 5 chapters to a couple of writing friends and see what they think, see if it makes sense to a second pair of eyes, But okay, so that was last night, and then this morning I was treated with an Alyssa in the Books live stream. She used to do these like writing live streams early in the morning, like 6 a.m. her time, like 4 days a week or something. She stopped for a while, but she just had another one this morning, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna join it. So I set an alarm, I made sure I was awake, and did I write during the live stream. Not really. I did poke around a little bit. I tweaked a few words here and there, but like my brain was not present enough to write that early because frankly, I'm just not a morning person. Like I've tried, but most of the time it doesn't work. But what I did do was I started editing a writing vlog. Frankly, guys, I am so severely behind on editing my writing vlogs. I mean, I'm not going to be posting it as often this summer as I'm sure you've gathered by now because this vlog that I'm currently recording probably won't come out for like another 2 weeks from now. So it's going to be like at least mid-June is my estimation. I'm severely behind. Let's just put it that way. So I was working on that. And then I actually had like a cute little coffee and bookstore date with one of my friends. We've been trying to get together for forever. And it was nice because we both kind of got out without our children because both of our husbands had the day off today. So they were with the kids while we got to go hang out, and that was really pleasant. And speaking of bookstores and such, I did not actually end up purchasing any books at the bookstore today, but that is because I already got like 3 books this week. On my birthday, my husband and I went to the bookstore and yeah, I made out with some books. So let me show you the little mini book haul. If there's like a mess behind me, ignore it. I mean, those are like my craft supplies and that's my like camera bag. So it's fine. But anyway, these are the books that I got. So first of all, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It has been on my TBR for a very long time and I'm excited to read this. Admittedly, I have had this on hold at the library for a long time and like it comes up on my Libby account every so often because I had it on hold as an ebook and I kept on delaying it because I just like wasn't in the right headspace to read the book. Then once I started annotating books again, like physical books, I started to make a list of the books that I think I would prefer to have a physical copy of so that I can actually annotate them. And The Secret History was one of them. So when I saw it at the bookstore, I was like, okay, great. This is one of the books that I have been wanting to read this year, but I specifically want to annotate it because I want to pay close attention. The next book, I got the physical copy, not necessarily because I really want to annotate it, but I don't know. It was sort of impulsive. Okay, don't bother me. It's Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Is that how you pronounce her name? I'm so sorry if I mispronounce it, but I've heard so many things about this trilogy. Is it a trilogy? Is it done or is it going to be a quartet? I actually don't know, but this series, I think the 3rd book came out really recently and everyone has been raving about it. I did read the first few pages and I was really impressed just with the prose. I mean, it is YA, but it seems like the type of YA that is right up my alley and is like extremely well written and thoughtful and grounded in detail and just everything like unfurls so nicely. Just in the first few pages, I was like, okay, yeah, I like this a lot. And the premise of it is also exciting to me and just feels very, I don't know, it just like scratches something nostalgic. I don't know, it's a nostalgic itch. So I'm excited to get into this. It probably won't be for a little while because I'm telling myself that I'm not going to start any more like series or trilogies until I'm done with the ones that I'm currently in the middle of. So this one's gonna have to wait, unfortunately, even though I'm kind of in the mood to read it. Like part of me just wants to read it right now, but okay. And then the last book, I just have to brag on my husband really quickly because I will take any opportunity I can get to do that publicly. When we went to the bookstore, actually we went to 2 different bookstores. I was actually specifically looking for this book, but we could not find it. It was sold out. It just came out really recently and I specifically wanted to look for it because I think that it might make it a really good comp for Project Phoenix. I don't know yet, we'll see, but it is like a gothic fantasy with a romantic subplot, and that is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I will say, I did read One Dark Window. I have yet to read Two Twisted Crowns. One Dark Window, I don't know. I did have like a bit of a reading vlog on my channel regarding One Dark Window. Like that was one of the books that I read as I was searching for comps for Project Phoenix. And I have mixed feelings about it because there's so many things about it that I thought were really cool. Like it was atmospheric, the prose was nice, and the magic system was really interesting. I think I just didn't really like the characters. I just didn't vibe with them. And that's kind of like a personal thing. But I kind of want to give Gillig another chance. I mean, I think that she's a good author, clearly. So honestly, this is like a #1 New York Times bestseller right now. It's honestly killing it. It was sold out. Like that's fantastic and really good for her. I'm really happy for her. And I think One Dark Window was maybe her debut. So I want to give her another chance now that she has a completed duology under her belt. I want to see what she'll do next, I guess, because like I love the gothic fantasy vibes and the premise of this seems really interesting to me. I mean, the cover is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. It's so cool. I don't know. I'm hoping that this one will hit for me in the way that One Dark Window maybe didn't quite, like it just didn't quite hit for me personally. But I know a lot of people that love it. So like, it's just my personal opinion. So yeah, very interested in this one and interested to see if it makes a good comp for Project Phoenix. I don't know. We'll see. Project Phoenix also might change in later drafts from what I think it's being right now. So I don't know. But okay, that was my like little book haul. And then, okay, yeah, we're not done yet. I got back and lo and behold, Lynn was having a writing live stream, like a super spontaneous one. So I hopped onto that and I started editing my video again. And then I got a birthday present in the mail from my mother. It's a new keyboard. It's a Yunzi maybe B68. I could be wrong. I think. Yeah, B68, I think. And it's so beautiful. So over the course of the stream, I was pretty much just like replacing the keycaps so that it's this really cute like pastel gradient vibe. And you guys, the sound and like feel of the keyboard, not only is it cute, but it is perhaps one of the most satisfying things I've ever experienced, like typing on. Like wow. Obviously, like I love my old keyboard. It has a completely different sound. It's like way more clacky, which I think there's, a time and place for that. And I still love the vibe. It's like a typewriter vibe. I'm happy to have some options, to mix things up. This one is a bit smaller, so I feel like it's going to be a little bit more portable, which will be nice. But yes, overall, I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made with this second draft so far. I think I'm going to write a little bit more today, but I don't know like how much more steam I have, to be honest, because I am feeling exhausted. I do think I'm going to close out this vlog here. Do not fear though, because in like the ending clip, I will show a clip of me typing on the keyboard so that you can have like a few satisfying moments listening to it if that's what you want. Hello, this is Joy popping in from the future. Before I end this video with the keyboard typing moment, Sierra D. Hill created a new like AuthorTube challenge called Pass the Pen, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, it's a shared Google Doc where she started out with a sentence and then she challenged me to write the next sentence of the story, and so on and so forth. It'll be a chain of AuthorTubers challenging each other to write the next sentence of the story, and you can only write one sentence, which is a lot of pressure. So the first sentence was, "The suitcase began humming just as the train crossed into the dead zone." And it's any genre, so like whatever happens, happens. I don't know. So the sentence that I wrote to add onto it was, "Every instinct in Elizabeth's body urged her to flee, but she tightened her grip on the handle." That was my sentence. And I have challenged my dear friend Taylor Ann Wright to write the next sentence. So I passed the pen to Taylor, but I've included a link in the description box to the Google Doc so that you can follow along to the story. And I also have included a link to Sierra's video where she explains the challenge. And honestly, it's a really fun idea. So if you want to start your own story chain with your friends or whatever, like on Instagram or anything, I think it's fun. So yeah, back to the end of the video and my typing montage. If you made it to the end of this video, maybe we're gonna be basic today, just leave a book emoji. But yeah, if you're not subscribed yet and you want to follow along on my writing journey, I post lots of content like this, lots of writing vlogs, writing craft chats, sometimes reading vlogs or like reading adjacent things. And yeah, I guess until next time, bye!